is a special Sunday edition of You Don't Watch Sports on June 9th here. Welcome to You Don't Watch Sports, where we cover three topics, sprinkle a little sports information into your casual conversation as we are the guiding light through the sea that is sports talk. I am Bill Smith, and I am here as always with the man, the myth, the legend, Feo Grande himself, Omari Ellis. Omari, how was your sports week, sir?
You know, not bad at all. Not bad at all. I mean, actually, it's bad a little bit. It's pretty. There's a pretty terrible part we'll touch on, but overall, pretty good sports week.
All right, yeah.
I was happy last weekend, and I'm planning to be happy today.
We'll we'll uh we'll 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 talk about your hopes here in topic number one. Starting off, NBA Finals, Omari. Let's check in on both of our finals. We got NBA and NHL going on. NBA right now, we got the Boston Celtics.
That's right.
Who kind of cleaned house against the Mavericks.
So that series is pretty much, that's pretty much going to be a sweep, in this day and age, where the rich get richer and et cetera, et cetera. The Boston Celtics are a sports reminder that, yes, that is still the case. The dark times around us, they will continue. Those at the top will ever remain at the top. And so, yeah. And
because it's only one game.
It's
only one game.
Jason Tatum didn't even show up, and they still won by like 30. Because Kristaps Porzingis decided to come off an injury and just be like, "Aha, I'm just as good."
No, yeah, there's the old adage that the series, it's not a series until the home team loses, and so we gotta talk after game 3. Obviously, after game 3, if you're down 3-0, I mean that's a hard time. But
I'm not even sure if Foster was reffing that game. So we haven't even had the Foster and Boston game yet, which is another game for them. The man gets his own theme music when he comes out, or a referee in Boston. Okay? When the stadium's playing theme music for you, there's only so much, plausible deniability that could be had.
Come on now. All right, and then on the NHL side of things, we have the Edmonton Oilers versus the Florida Panthers. Any thoughts going on here?
Let's go Florida. I mean, yeah, Canada, it'd be cool. Like, I'm happy with whoever wins because Bruins ain't left and the Blues are out, so I can't root for the Blues.
Mm-hmm. But you can't root for an entire country who created the sport and hasn't seen a victory.
You see,
the entire nation, the entire citizenship of Canadians,
I don't live
are living and dying on every second of these games.
I'm not rooting against them. However, I don't live in Canada and I do live in Florida.
You just said, let's go Florida. Isn't that the definition of rooting against them?
Did you hear what I just said? But and then I continued by saying I'm happy either way because Canada hasn't won the sport for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, normally you can see my room behind me and I have an American flag up there. So I got to say USA, but I'm not going to be mad if Canada wins. It's their sport.
Okay, USA.
Yeah.
Topic number 2, we got UFL playoffs going on this weekend. We had a game last night, and then we got a big one tonight, folks. Omari,
yes,
walk us through it.
So, yeah, last night, the Michigan Panthers lost to the Birmingham Stallions, the reigning, defending, undisputed UFL champion Stallions. They beat them 31-18. The Panthers led 18-3 at halftime, scoring on their first 5 possessions, all 5 of them, 4 field goals and a touchdown. Going into halftime, they were up 18-3, and then they allowed 28 unanswered points in the second half. They got hit with the Atlanta Falcons special. It wasn't pretty, but the Birmingham Stallions now await the team that should be winning tonight's game. We got tonight's game. We got the Battlehawks versus the Brahmas. You can probably guess what team I'm rooting for there. I mean, I don't know how more obvious I can make it, but we're going. I'm rooting for the Battlehawks.
The call
All
is
is law,
law.
motherfucker. Yeah. So let's go. Let's take it to the
Yeah.
championship.
The championship is in St. Louis.
Correct. If you want them stands to be filled for your championship game.
I guarantee you we're going to fill those stands either way. And we might be louder if they're not there.
Oh yeah, that's why I was saying this is our first, but this was a great sports week despite Thursday's occurrence. This is the first time in 19 years St. Louis professional football team is in the playoffs as a home playoff game. First time in 19 years. Oh, you guys are exaggerating about the Rams being a bad team. You're not a Cleveland or whatever. Motherfucking Cleveland had made it to the playoffs in the time since the last time the St. Louis Rams had made it the playoffs and left St. Louis, Cleveland had made it to the playoffs. Okay. Oh. Yep.
We were soul crushingly bad for quite a long time. Then we were mediocre we won that Super Bowl, and then we went back to the Super Bowl, and then we were mediocre for several years, and then we were heartbreakingly bad for many years. Several years in a row. 1 to 4 losses to 4 wins.
I'm about to say 13 years without a 500, 13 years straight without even reaching 500.
Yeah, and most of those were way off from 500.
Yes.
We're way off from 500.
Yeah, we got Bradford.
And then we had the Jeff Fisher.
Season.
We had the Jeff Fisher.
That was the Jeff Fisher era.
Yeah. Where he just barely would get under 500 and try and claim that it was a successful season because they would improve. Win like one extra game every year. It was rough. And you know, it was a rough facilities at the time that they made no attempts to improve and wanted city money for, while also actively putting the opposite of a good product on the field.
Kroenke wanted out, and he was looking for
an excuse. There's a reason why the city of St. Louis won the lawsuit against Stan Kroenke, because it was incredibly shady practices that removed the team from the city, and the Battlehawks are the perfect example to show that we absolutely supported football in this city, and all you had to do is respect us as a fan base, and we turn out to your games in any sport. Even look to the St. Louis Billikens downtown, where every one of their highlight games is going to be packed to the gills. So we support our sports here, and I'm excited for it. I want us to be in those finals. But like I said, even if we're not there, I think the cause would be even louder. And in the championship game, we will show up for this city no matter what. And it'll just be an added bonus that the St. Louis Battlehawks will be playing in the game. Fingers crossed. Topic number 3, Omari. I wanted to talk. We often reserve this topic for wrestling, and there's an interesting thing going on right now in wrestling that I wanted to check in on, because this morning there was a big report from, I believe, Fightful on wrestler Ricochet in WWE, who has reportedly submitted his notice to WWE officials, letting them know that he does not plan to extend or re-sign. And 2024 has kind of been the year of contracts, because 2019 was obviously, of course, the creation of AEW, and many AEW wrestlers were signed to 5-year deals, as well as WWE very quickly re-signing or extending a large number of their wrestlers to high-value contracts, because they didn't want the competition to start taking them. So we have a lot of people coming up this summer, and I just wanted to get your thoughts. We're
All
gonna
right.
start with the WWE side of things because it has the larger numbers here. Uh we have heavily involved in screen storylines. We'll leave out Ricochet because the report is that he is leaving. I'm interested to know where you think he will go. Do you think he'll be New Japan, AEW?
I I could see him going just about anywhere, but with the name he has and with the idea of, oh my God, the flips these motherfuckers are gonna do, I could see AEW coming to him. I think Osprey, it was either Gable or somebody else that was actively being like recruited by AEW people. Like, yeah, you should leave that company and come to us.
Osprey did an
Uh,
did an interview where he was like uh he was like, I consider it disrespectful how they use Ricochet, and that Ricochet should go somewhere where he's allowed to do what Ricochet can do.
yeah. So, and they've had some bangers in the past, to my knowledge. I haven't
Yes.
watched them, but I've heard of and seen like highlight clips. So the shit they can do now that they've got some seasoning on them should be great. And before Ricochet starts reaching that point where he can't ricochet like he used to, like, you know what I mean? Like even
Yeah.
AJ Styles, as athletic as he is, he's gone on record talking about moves he can't do anymore that he used to do.
Uh-huh.
It's just a thing that comes with time. So I think AEW would probably, if he's not going back with WWE, if he is indeed not going back with WWE, I think that's a prime place for him. That's instant, like high profile matches because the AEW crowd knows the pre WWE history of all their wrestlers. And so they're like, oh shit, we're getting the real Ricochet. So they're already going to be hyped just hearing the name coming to the company because they can ignore what they've seen on TV. It's not like WWE crowds who have somebody come in and they don't know shit about them. They're like, I don't care if you've been a legend elsewhere in the world for 20 years. I've never seen you, so you're a rookie.
Yep.
Nah.
Then so we have high profile in storylines right now. Chad Gable has an Intercontinental Championship match with I believe, re-signed for this year, and for long term, Sami Zayn has an Intercontinental title match with him, and reportedly his contract is up June 7th, which was 2 days ago. So
But he
either
still
he's
has the
operating
match.
under a handshake deal
Uh huh. Or he
and will
resigned.
put Sammy over one more time before he leaves, or he has already re-signed. But he
That
could,
lost
I mean,
step or
he's
something.
somebody, do you think he needs to leave? He's being featured very heavily. He's always been a guy who gets screen time, whether he's doing the comedic role or whether he's doing the inspirational Olympian underdog, or now with his heel work. He's kind of always getting screen time on Raw.
Yeah. I don't think he needs to leave. Like for the stuff you just mentioned. And he could just as easily resign and win the title, or us not knowing if he re-signed or not makes it more of a surprise when he wins the title than then it's revealed, yeah, he re-signed.
Yeah.
Stop poking your noses backstage type shit.
Hmm.
uh so I could see that kind of thing going for it, or something like with the alleged Ethan Page. Apparently he wasn't signed to them when he came. Just Sean just like, hey, you want to show up on TV tonight? And then they signed him afterwards. So I could see something like that happening with Gable and him staying with WWE because he is being heavily featured right now. And they've got this whole storyline with Otis and them and the payoff, which I mean you can still have that payoff if Otis betrays him and he leaves the company and then Otis goes off into the sunset with the rest of Alpha Academy. Cool. But everyone knows the payoff for these kind of things is the match.
Right. Right.
And I feel like to have that proper payoff, Gable's got to stay. So
I
I'm
think
saying
so
Gable
too.
stays.
I think so too. I'm interested in Dijak, but I don't want to put too much time into him. No offense,
I
but
don't know
I
enough
know you're
about
a
him.
fan. You're
I
kind of a
like
fan
him.
of you like Dijak, but it's he hasn't had any screen time for a long time. If he leaves, he leaves. He probably has he would probably leave for a chance for more screen time. Either that or dub or he can use this as a negotiation tactic to force more creative
Yeah.
for him on screen. But yeah, he's also up in June. An interesting one for me is what has to be the longest tenured female wrestler and one of the longest tenured wrestlers on the roster right now for WWE in Natalia,
Huh.
whose contract is up reportedly this month. And conveniently, right now, over on the second wrestling brand, there's a little tournament going on named after one of her family members. I think it would be shocking because people think of her so much as WWE.
Yeah.
And I think it would be, I mean, the phrase is needle mover. I think she could move to AEW and work some main card programs that I don't know if she'll ever get back to in WWE.
I can agree with that.
Off the back of a moment like a surprise entry into the Owen Hart tournament by Natalia I
Neidhart, I want to say.
Neidhart. Um uh
Yeah.
I think I think that would be something very
Yeah. I actually kind of like it.
very big for her that I don't know because like other than that, they're teasing that she might do a run in NXT, like which she's already done. She's done her
Yeah.
original NXT run, then she went back and did an NXT run, and now they're teasing that she might go back and do like an NXT Women's Championship. I'm the
I,
big dog in the yard kind of run.
I like what you're saying. I like your idea with the lining it up with heart to heart. And now that we've got as much crossover happening as we do between the companies, as surprising as it would be, I think it'd be fine. Like, because, freaking Edge going over there with the kind of WWE career he had is like you would not think he would consider himself mistreated by WWE and go over there. So now I could see pretty much anybody going, and I think it would. She's definitely earned that. Like you said, Twilight. Here's some main card matches that you could definitely run that you wouldn't be able to run in WWE.
Hmm.
And she could also show off like the wrestling skills she still has instead of being wrapped up in whatever gimmick of the year they have for her in WWE. And after shit like the farting gimmick that they gave her back in the day, she's earned her right to be taken seriously.
Hmm. Hmm. All right. Well, I'll challenge you a little bit because you said at this point anybody could leave. Omari, in December of 2024, the entire New Day's contracts are up. Do they do they could they possibly be on any other place but WWE? Could they possibly be anything but the New Day at this point? They have to be the longest living faction of all time, the longest tag team that has never done a breakup angle.
Yeah, aren't they trying to work on one now with this carrying
I
cross
mean, they're
shit?
teasing something, but they've teased things before, and it just
Also
never,
true.
and it's
Also,
never,
it never
it
works
always just
out.
ends up being New Day.
Yeah. I'm with you where I see Natalia leaving more likely than New Day leaving.
Mm-hmm.
The same time, when it comes to the whole idea of betting on yourself, leaving WWE is betting on yourself as opposed to betting on the product.
Yeah.
Um, Xavier Woods, Austin Watson, Austin Creed, whatever you want to call the man, is the epitome of betting on yourself. The fact that the New Day even exists is the result of that man betting on himself, wanting Kofi Kingston to be put over and have him in a faction as a heel or whatever. And the way the story apparently is, Vince McMahon's like, you can, yeah, blah blah blah, terrible dude, whatever. But he was like, you can't have, no one's gonna believe Kofi Kingston as a heel. He's too whatever. That's not gonna work. And allegedly, he bet the team's success on his job. Like, if I can't get people to, boo Kofi Kingston or boo our faction or whatever, get this faction over, you can fire me. And the dude clearly, if you've seen any of his Austin Creed shit or any of his stuff, or just assume that 90% of the people in the business grew up as fans of the business and this is where they want to be, and they understand how much of a golden ticket it is to even be talking to that guy at that time.
Mm-hmm.
For them to say, you can fire me if this don't work, that's betting on yourself to the nth degree. And it turned into the New Day.
Yeah.
So if anyone would bet on themselves or could bet on themselves, I could see them doing it just to be like, we want to because they want to wrestle other people like the Young Bucks, like the, Cerro Meadows, even though one of them might be coming over to fucking WWE. But I doubt it. They're too ingrained in WWE, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
I highly doubt it. But that would be the only thing I could see is a bet on yourself type
We'll
deal.
see because they've already I mean, they re-signed. There's a ton of people that they re-signed. Like I think Sammy came up this year. I know Cody was going to be coming up very soon, and they extended him. They're one of the few people that they extended early. Because obviously you're gonna give him that WWE run. You're gonna make sure he stays, or that WrestleMania run. You're gonna make sure he sticks around a little bit afterwards. Um, they re-signed Drew McIntyre very, very recently. And then they've also gained in essentially this year, although some of them started making TV appearances before the new year. You had Ethan Page very recently, Jade Cargill, who made her first wrestling appearance in the Royal Rumble. Same with CM Punk, who technically didn't wrestle on WWE TV until 2024. And has only done that so far. um, so yeah, they're gaining, but we also have some AEW folks that might come through. You got Shane Taylor, who's currently mostly working in Ring of Honor. His contract expires in July, but then later in the summer, in September, you got two folks that have definitely appeared to enjoy their time outside of the WWE umbrella very much. But we all know there are a lot of storylines and a lot of fans on the other, still under that umbrella, that would love to see them return in Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryant from WWE, and Dustin Rhodes, whose brother just happens to be the number one guy right now in WWE. Um, they both are up in September. Omari, do you think we see Daniel Bryant or Bryan Danielson or Dustin Rhodes or Goldust or whatever back in WWE? This would be Royal Rumble 2025. Perfect timing
I
after
could
you get their
see
like non-compete
I
out
could
of the
see
way.
I could see a Gold Dust showing up in the Royal Rumble, having a little meetup like face to face with like Cody in the ring or whatever, have a moment or something
Are you saying
before
Cody
someone
Rhodes
breaks
is
it out.
not champion at Royal Rumble?
Sure. I don't think he's going on a 3-year reign of his own. I don't. I don't think they're following up the Roman reign with another reign of equal like dominance.
No, but he can get one calendar year. You don't want him to have 1 year?
It's not that I don't want him to. I just don't think they're gonna.
Okay. No, that's fair.
Babyface, unless he
Well,
turns.
this conversation changed here. Who do you think is gonna
Yeah.
now
Sorry.
I need to
So
know
Goldust.
who's dropping it or who he's dropping
Oh
it
no.
to.
Oh my
Who's
God.
the
Now
next
the con.
WWE champion? Is it Randy Orton? Is it AJ Styles?
Don't think it's right. Unless actually it
Is
could
it
be right.
Solo Sikoa? People would hate him.
Oh,
That would get a lot of heat on Solo.
that would. I kind of want it to happen because it would get him a lot of heat. I don't know about enough of who's on SmackDown because Cody's SmackDown now, right?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's say Solo because it'd be funny on some bloodline shit, and
Okay,
then
so
and
sorry
then
to interrupt
Solo
you.
gets dethroned by the returning Roman Reigns now as a face, and then we get Roman it on the top, but people are okay with it now. Anyway,
At some point in the buildup, you get a Cody Roman tag team match against two members of the bloodline.
yeah, but essentially, I could see Dustin coming to or Goldust coming to WWE more as a trainer role because backstage like kind of
Yeah,
training up to you because
trainer
apparently he's doing
producer
that
thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's kind of doing that with AEW right now.
Uh-huh.
Uh, but and then showing up at Rumble just kind of we got Goldust and what a surprise like haha. But everything I hear about Brian Danielson's last run up to his contract ending is retirement run. So that's why I don't see him going back to WWE unless it's on some like general manager type shit.
Yeah, he's very specifically said full-time wrestling. This is
Oh,
his
okay.
last time doing full-time wrestling,
Oh,
was his
then yeah.
quotes. So that sounds like
WWE loves them some part
right.
timers.
That sounds like
Yeah.
a Rumble to WrestleMania run, kind of once a year appearance kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. When you're
Or it's a big New Japan,
New
big New
Japan, like Wrestle
yeah,
Kingdom type
yeah, big
stuff.
event at Tokyo Dome surprise Brian Danielson.
Yeah, I see.
I would be interested to see a world where these companies begin to be with a select few. Obviously, not everybody can do it, but with these select few people who might have, excuse my language, the proverbial dick to swing. Um, I would love to see some of these companies do more appearance-based deals
Yeah.
where these wrestlers can hop around a little bit and surprise folks. Like if Danielson can come in for a Cody Rhodes run of like 5 SmackDowns and 2 pay-per-views,
Mm-hmm.
and then 2 months later show up in New Japan at their giant pay-per-view. I feel like that would be really cool and be good
Yeah.
for lift everybody. I want to see more of that happen.
I like that idea as well. I will sign off and agree.
And obviously AEW has done a lot of gaining already this year with Mercedes Moné, Will Ospreay, Kazuchika Okada. They re-signed MJF. Somebody who's not on this list at all because she is already a free agent, so she's not listed under anybody's contracts. Becky Lynch is sitting at home right now without a contract from any wrestling company, reportedly.
And in a few months, she will show right the fuck back up on WWE television.
Maybe about
I
Rumble. I see her and Rollins doing the Rumble return potentially.
mm-hmm.
I kind of have Rollins as the winner of the Royal Rumble
Oh,
this far out.
that'd
The
be cool.
MVP of WrestleMania 40. You gotta give him
I
his
would like
cookie now
that.
that he returns.
I would like that over a Roman Reigns is back and wins the Rumble.
Hmm.
I
No,
would prefer a
because
Rollins.
like you said, like Roman is the epitome now of the me want shot.
He
thing.
really is. He doesn't but that hasn't stopped him before, Bill.
Right.
That hasn't stopped WWE
But
before.
before he
New
hasn't had the
regime.
crowd support in that.
Yeah. Also new regime. So
Currently we're expecting for him to, I mean, that return, like it might, like there's two returns. We're talking wrestling for a while here, but that's fine. There's two returns likely this year, the end of this year, or maybe Royal Rumble if they really wanted to extend it and bleed it out, that I am really waiting for. We got an MJF, which was incredible, and he even did an homage to the Triple H return, it seems like, in
with the
his outfit.
jacket.
But you want to talk Triple H injury returns, I'm looking at Rhea Ripley and the eventual Roman Reigns. It feels like those two surprise the moment their music sting hits and people aren't expecting it is going to be on another level at this point because of
Especially with this. Oh, you thought Roman was bad. Now here's the solo bloodline. It's
yeah.
more evil than you could ever imagine.
Right.
Oh
Roman was
shit.
calculating for purpose. Like he was violent. He was violent when he needed to be for reasons. These people are just like, yeah, Paul Heyman's just like, these are felons. Like, I can't even get them all across the border solo. How are we gonna do this? And then we got this fucking Jacob Fatu dude just sitting on the sidelines. He's reportedly already getting paid by WWE, and they just haven't thrown him in the mix yet. And he's apparently the baddest of them all.
There's always another
I've
Uce.
seen I've seen some YouTubes of this dude, and woo, the pop-up Samoan drop. Have you seen the pop-up Samoan drop?
Yes, and it's ridiculous.
Ugh. Oh my God. Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. Super excited for what's going on in AEW. Love the mingling. It's always exciting. Surprises are one of the best things in wrestling, so I want to see the crossovers happen.
I would love that crossover idea. But yeah, so that's the 3 topics for the week. Go Battlehawks. If you want to catch some of our other shows on this channel, you got shows like on the Tuesdays. We got This Guy Hasn't Seen with the two of us talking about various movies. We trade back and forth with one another and stuff like that, kind of like a little movie club type, book club type deal. We also have a show. I also have a show called Whatever We Want podcast. And a real good friend of mine, good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Find that on Wednesdays. We also have Mock Draft, a show that we're working on and have a first episode up. You want to see us talk more about wrestling? Go check that one out. We also will be drafting other stuff with mocking up drafts and drafting lists and stuff. It's fun. And yeah, other stuff coming down the lane. I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi, Giotavi. Come on in and stop on by. Bill.
No!
All right. Thank you guys very much for enjoying your time with us. We've enjoyed our time with you.